For a time, we tried to contact him by radio, but no response.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 28 of the Dumb Marks podcast, the Patrick's Day special. Here in Pittsburgh, St. Patrick's Day, we have one of the biggest parades in the country. It's a big deal here, and normally around 11 o'clock on this Saturday, if this was a regular non-COVID year, I would probably have been already at the bar for 4 hours and just drunk off my ass. So
coming to you in August.
Yeah. Running back in August, that'll make it seem so like St. Patrick's Day all over again. To those of you that are going out today, stay safe, mask up, whatever. Do what you got to do. But I will not be venturing out at all today. I will be day drinking in the house by myself once we get done with this. So I don't know which is worse. You could take that option for what it is yourself. What's up, fellas? How's everybody doing? As you can see, I'm a little bit of a babyface assassin today. I was trimming up the beard yesterday, and as I was trimming up, I had a little shoot crown, and so I had to go down, and then I realized how fat my face was, and go, all right, I got to do something about this.
So I refuse to shave.
I can't get a beard like you, Jay. It's a struggle to get what I could get, but this is just getting out of hand. So, how's everybody week go? Everybody good?
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I went for my COVID vaccine this week, so I got shot one in.
How did that go?
That was a shit show. Very shit show. This is actually my fourth experience with the COVID vaccine because I took my mom, I took my sister, and I took my dad to all get theirs. All three of them I took in Allegheny County. Two of them I took to the one that the Allegheny County was doing. My dad I took to the VA. All of them in and out in a half hour because after you get the shot, you have to wait for 15 minutes before they let you go. In and out half hour, no problem. Me, I go get my shot, and I had to wait in line over an hour and a half to get the shot because I went outside of Allegheny County. I went to Harrison City. I was the dumb mark that had to fuck everything up. So I get out there. You had to make an appointment. So I had an appointment time. 3:40 was my appointment time. And people were apparently coming hour, 2 hour, whatever, ahead of time and just waiting in line. So bad that the cops ended up coming and trying to tell people to get out of line if they were in line more than an hour. And then the news showed up while I was in line to see if anybody wanted to talk about how much of a shit show this was.
You didn't get on the news?
I didn't. I don't even know who it was because it was just like the random cameraman.
Hey, there's no such thing as bad publicity. You get on there, start spouting stuff off, and then throw the tagline out there. Follow us every Saturday at Dumb Marks Pod. Join us live as we break down. Like, come on, dude, that's a golden opportunity right there.
And how quickly that would have been cut from the showroom floor.
Grab the camera like The Rock did in that stove.
Look at his podcast on the news.
Grab the camera like The Rock did at WrestleMania 15.
Once I went in, it wasn't even much more organized inside. Like the whole thing was a shit show out there. But the one benefit that I'll give them.
We did just come on and bury Harrison City. So if we have any listeners in Harrison City, I doubt they're staying around after this.
Population
I go with it. The only benefit that I'll give them is that, like, whenever I took my mom and my sister, they had to, like, the week as they needed to get their second dose, they had to book it then. Out there, they did book my second dose already for me, so I don't have to do anything else. I just have to show up that
just
day.
Go stand in line for an hour and a half.
I might as well. I should just be out there for the next month. So, I mean, I'm actually going the week of Mania. And so I might miss Mania because I have to wait in line for my second dose. So we'll just have to wait and
Listen, Mania is now 8 days long because it's just an entire week of stuff. So I doubt you'll miss anything.
I mean, I'll have my phone, so hopefully the Peacock Network actually puts enough content on that week.
True. All right. Anybody got anything else for the week before we jump into our typical spiel here in the intro? Run through our snacks, TV, videos, games. Anything else that caught our eye this week? Nope. All right. Who wants to kick it off?
I'll kick it off with the gaming news, like always. So Sony confirmed that PlayStation 5 is going to have a slim version in 2023. So by the time that comes out, people will probably still be waiting on the other one.
And it already looks better than the original.
I didn't even see none of the images.
I didn't see any pictures, no.
Yeah, I'll check it out probably later. And then Xbox this week made it official that they bought Bethesda. So all the paperwork and everything is all official. Mm-hmm. If you know, a couple months ago, Xbox bought Bethesda for $7.5 billion. So any new Bethesda game, which is like Fallout or Elder Scrolls, I think it's Starfield or StarCraft, one of the two, is going to come out Xbox exclusively, except for the ones like Deathloop is still going to be a PlayStation 5 exclusive, stuff that what contracts were made up before Xbox officially bought them. So if you want to play any of those games, you have to buy the Xbox Series X now.
All right. My gaming news, I think, is something that we all saw this week. And for everybody that's around our age bracket, you will be super excited with the return of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. Mm-hmm. So it is based off of the 80s old school arcade style of games. That was what were the games?
The one was the arcade game. The biggest one was the Super Nintendo version, the Turtles in Time.
Turtles in Time, yeah.
And then they had another one for the Sega Genesis. It was the Stone in something. I forgot the name. It was almost like Turtles in Time, just a different twist on it.
I never had the SNES, but I remember the arcade version.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Spent many hours on that.
Yeah. I still want to get the arcade one-up Ninja Turtles cabinet. That's on my wish list. So if anybody out there wants to send me a gift, by all means, you can go ahead on the arcade one-up and order me.
You just had a birthday 3 months ago.
Nothing like a late birthday present. Mm-hmm. You can DM me directly, and I'll get in touch with you with my address. So
Steve's gonna be creating an OnlyFans account any day now.
But the Turtles is actually going to be 4-player co-op too.
Yeah,
so people who like to play together, this is one of those games.
Like the recent
go ahead, Jason.
The recent ones have been like two player online, 1 player by yourself. It's like, what's the point when you got 4 turtles?
Yeah.
Right.
You know what it reminded me of was when we were playing that Power Rangers game on PlayStation a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
that's what it kind of reminded me of, like being able to get that many people together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm super pumped for that. I'm sure, like I said, everybody else that grew up and is around our age, that's like immediate nostalgia, take you back there. I still remember running around the neighborhood with Ninja Turtle costumes on. Fighting each other.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, it was deep. Ninja Turtles ran deep around here. That's how it went. Like,
we didn't have it like that. I had sticks.
Oh no, don't get me wrong. They were.
Steve had fishing gear.
If you were lucky enough to have the costume that came with the weapons, you were good. But
you were.
Hey, sometimes that old Christmas wrapping paper roll that came in handy as Donatello. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like the old shirt you wrapped around your eyes, you make the holes for your eyes.
Me and Steve only grew up 2 blocks across from each other. So, I mean, just imagine seeing 2 kids run around Ninja Turtle gear for 2 blocks.
Yeah, that's definitely how it went. So that was the only thing I had on the gaming front. Movie, TV wise, I did see, I don't know how many people are going to be excited for this, but the show was a big hit. They're doing a live action Powerpuff Girls.
Oh, I hadn't seen that. That's interesting.
See that? Yeah,
I've seen it before, but I've never seen Powerpuff Girls.
They casted Chloe Benet, Dove Cameron, and Yana Peralt.
I don't know any of them.
3 girls. So let's see. Chloe Bennett was from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
That was I forgot her name, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Cameron was on Liv and Maddie and the Descendants films. I know her from my daughter, so she'll play Bubbles. And then
what is Powerpuff? Who owns that? Is that Disney, Nickelodeon?
I believe it's Disney.
Disney?
I could be wrong.
I was just asking because the one was on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the other one was on Disney show, so that would make sense if Disney owned it.
Well, if it's Disney, it's going to be a good product.
Well, so it says that it's going to be a live action TV show thanks to the CW. So, yeah. So I saw that.
They do well with shows.
Yeah.
So
there was.
So it's going to be dark and edgy then.
We'll see. Before we jump into
Jason's
Marvel
stuff,
yeah. Before we jump into Marvel stuff, I wanted to say, Fat Kid Wise Snacks, Krispy Kreme yesterday gave out their chocolate glazed Fridays. So it is their original glazed Krispy Kreme donut covered with chocolate glaze. So it's
I want to hear, but the nearest one is in Washington.
So it's diabetes on top of diabetes.
So they put their glaze and then they add a chocolate glaze on top. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. So it gets run.
That's diabetes. Yeah.
So it gets run through twice. I'm not a fan of Krispy Kremes. I've never had them straight out the oven with the red light on. Other than that, I don't.
You've had store-bought, huh?
Yeah, I don't like them. I can't do them. Yeah, no. Can't do it. Oh, technically.
It fits this week for St. Patrick's Day. You could just leave it up.
I should just leave it green this week.
Yeah, you could.
Maybe if I ironed it would work out. But, Krispy Kreme. So apparently throughout the year on certain Fridays, they're going to run their chocolate glazed Fridays, and yesterday was one of those Fridays. So if you're a fan of Krispy Kreme donuts and you got one near you, keep an eye out. Follow them.
Road trip to Washington?
It needs to be. Have you ever made a donut burger?
No.
Or do the breakfast sandwich?
What's that? No. The Luther.
The Luther. Or you do the breakfast sandwich, they're to die for.
No,
I haven't.
I
saw what was that? KFC was doing the donut chicken sandwich a couple years ago or whatever.
That first bite was great.
It's like drinking a Coke. The first sip was good. Other than that, it was
everything
trash.
else was just diabetes in a boat.
Coming at Coke.
They gave it to you.
What they did to you?
Coke.
They gave it to you in a boat.
Coke after the first sip is terrible. You get that first sip and it's that's a Coke, and then after that it's trash. Straight trash.
Pepsi's trash.
And I don't even drink dark pop. Like I barely drink pop as it is, unless I'm using like ginger ale as a mixer for drinks. But other than that, like I really don't.
Dark beer guy doesn't drink dark pop.
I really don't. Like I'll have a cream soda and a root beer every now and again, but other than that, like I don't drink pop. Like
I actually try to stay away from caffeine a lot more now. So it's like if I drink pop, it's more caffeine free stuff like a ginger ale or cream soda or something like that too.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't have that. Was the only snack thing that I saw this week. Jay, I saw you were posting the strawberry. Yeah, you went on a strawberry cake yesterday.
I'm always snacking on the pod. So I seen these this week, like on websites, and I didn't know they dropped. What is it? Strawberry Kisses. Chris, your mom might like these.
Probably would. That just sounds filthy, but I mean, we'll just moving on.
I think they're white chocolate, but you can't tell because it's strawberry. so that's pretty good. These frosted Oreos, they ain't a hit.
No, Homer Simpson won't approve.
Nah, I'm gonna keep eating them though, so they'll be gone by the end of the show.
You eat a whole bag of Oreos by the end of the show.
Yeah,
That's a guarantee.
We'd have to have a snack intervention.
Oh, that should have been happened.
JJ said one time, I'm worried about your sugar level.
For a man who brings peach rings to every event we go to, or every outing.
You can't go out without snacks.
And then on the Marvel front, sad not having WandaVision to watch last night after 9 episodes and that, but we are getting Falcon and Winter Soldier next week, so excited for that. Some news from that I saw. The runtime apparently will not be 8 hours long. Some people it was rumored to be 6 episodes, but the total runtime for all 6 was going to be 8 hours. That has not been confirmed, so don't really know yet. I'm sure they'll probably look at how they did with WandaVision with the different one times for episodes and kind of base it off of that. But that's coming on next week. And then there were some villains that were confirmed for the show. So if depending on who you want to see in the show, but confirmed is Flag Smasher. Don't know how familiar you guys are with Flag Smasher. If you're a deep MCU comic person, you know who Flag Smasher is. But she's represents the anti-patriotic stance that puts the new Captain America directly in her sights. So she's going to be one of the main characters, one of the main villains. Ultimatum,
close to home right now.
Yeah, Ultimatum will be her terrorist organization that she runs and leads. So that's there. Confirmed also is the U.S. agent. So that's going to be the person who takes over for Cap, as the new Captain America. But he got a great value name, just U.S. agent.
So what is this?
Who does everybody think is going to be the new Captain America? Like the one that officially becomes Captain America?
I don't know. I haven't seen any rumors or anything to that nature. Also confirmed in the show is Batroc the Leaper. I don't know if you guys know who he is. There was a big fight scene with him in Civil War. That was the guy that was played by George St. Pierre in the opening.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he'll be making a comeback. I don't know if George St. Pierre is playing him again, but he'll be back in the show. And then also confirmed is Helmut Zemo or Emulate Zemo. We all know Zemo from Civil War, and he gets his like MCU comic get up, the mask and everything. So I'm super excited for this. WandaVision definitely set the bar high for these Disney Plus Marvel shows. It was also so different. Spoiler alert, we said we were going to come on here and talk WandaVision a little bit, so we won't go too deep dive into it. But everything that they did on that show just was an A+ from the Easter eggs to the post-credit scenes to the episodes themselves, the character development, how they revealed storylines and set up the stuff for the movies that are going to be coming out. Just absolute kudos to them. And like I said, if you want to see behind the scenes stuff, go on and check out the Assembled show. First episode dropped yesterday. I have not watched it yet. I'll probably get around to it sometime this weekend. But
I watched the Legends yesterday for next week for that series, but I didn't go back and watch the Assembled yet. But that's definitely going to happen probably this weekend.
It's just Falcon and Bucky.
They do Falcon, Bucky, Sharon, and Zemo.
Okay, sure.
Yeah,
that's good. Yeah.
And
I
those
definitely
were
need that Zemo one because I remember him in the movie, but I didn't really remember the name or like a whole lot of the characters. So I'm glad I had that little bit of a refresher.
Yeah, definitely check those out before the show drops for sure.
And I mean, 4 minutes of Sharon Carter isn't bad either.
Oh, never.
But no, what you got without deep diving and breaking down, Easter eggs and everything else, but what you guys think of WandaVision overall as a show and how they did with setting up stuff? Because these shows on Disney Plus going forward are going to tie into the movies that are going to be released. So you got to watch both to stay up on what's going on, which isn't a bad play to get people, eyes on both products in two different places. So what'd you guys think? Not having superhero content for a long time, was it good to see Marvel back on your screens in some form or fashion?
I get superhero overload sometimes. So like I watch everything, CW, all that. So I'll get like halfway through and just start dying out on stuff. Like I'll tune in, tune out. But this one just kept you interested, waiting for next week every time, every week.
Yeah, it was it was very well done. This was a series I wasn't even going to watch. I was just going to let it just go through, and then I watched the first episode and was like, let me give it a shot. Then by the time I got to the third episode, I was like, okay, I'm hooked again in the MCU. Because after the whole Endgame phenomenon, and y'all know that I didn't like Endgame that much, I was going to take a break from the MCU, but I was like, damn it, they pulled me back in. But like as the show as overall, as a person who really liked Marvel Comics, I think they did a real good job. Not trying to get too deep in because I could talk about this all day, but all the costumes and everything when they hit back to their comic book costumes were good. Her new Scarlet Witch costume is amazing.
Yeah, she had a lot of input on that costume and that. So it's cool to see that they're not only are they portraying the characters, but they're also allowed to give their input on the costume itself to make sure that it comes out to be the best version of what it could be.
Mm-hmm. And how they tie in the Darkhold book itself to Doctor Strange is very, very well done. So I'm not going to get into like the ending parts and what I'm going to theorize about that to Doctor Strange, but I'm liking where they're going with this whole witch thing, dark arts and all that stuff. I think it's going to tie in very, very well. I just had one gripe, and that was a whole Quicksilver thing, but I'll let you guys talk about that.
So gripe as in it didn't set up what you wanted it to set up, or they kind of fooled you. They pulled the wool over your eyes with it. It made you think it was going to be something that it wasn't.
No, I think it's more. No, I think it's more that they talked about him being back, him doing the role from his Fox, his Fox stuff, and then when he came in, I was just like, okay, it wasn't a big surprise, and then everything with him towards the end, like basically killing that Quicksilver off altogether. It was like, what's the point in even bringing him in there just to do that?
It's Marvel. They'll find a creative way to circle back around to it. I don't think it completely killed him off, but
I think they're doing that just to keep their continuity in their MCU and killing off the Fox version of stuff.
Maybe it's a good way to look at it. I really enjoyed the show. I'm a big Catherine Hahn fan as an actress, so I thought she did a great job in this series. I was just happy with her being on the show, but I wasn't expecting her to be the role that she became. And I thought she did well. I'm hoping, the way they left things with her, I hope we see more of her in the next Doctor Strange movie, since that's supposed to be where this continues on with. I'm cool with that. I was real happy with everything. I thought the Darcy coming back was a great way to tie her back in. What's the FBI agent? Is it Jimmy?
Jimmy Woo.
Yeah, I like Jimmy. I think he has a great character too. They did a lot more with that. Continued on with Captain Marvel, with that character. So I think everything just progressed great with us for the MCU.
Now, with a scale 1 to 10, what would you rate WandaVision?
I mean, there were some things that I thought it started a slow build. So not everything was perfect for me. I'd probably give it at least an 8.
Same here. I was thinking an 8.
8, 9.
Yeah, all right. We're all in agreement as far as the range goes. Now for Falcon and Winter Soldier, because WandaVision was so different, are you gonna uphold that against WandaVision, or are you gonna take it completely separate because of the characters and the story that's going to be told and everything else? Like, I just think the way WandaVision was shot and how they tied in and went back through the TV sitcom phases, and they explained that out as to how and why that became and everything else. Like, I just think it was so outside the box for Marvel to do it that way, let alone like just a TV show in general to go and do it that way. That like you have to take WandaVision and just keep it by itself. You can't, because it wasn't shot like a regular TV series is shot. So, I mean,
you imagine like sitcom or drama or something, but like Falcon and Winter Soldier is going to be like probably straight action the whole way through.
Right? Is that that's going to be more like a long movie just chopped up into episodes? I feel.
Yeah, that's how I feel that's going to be.
Is how I feel it's going to be, but who knows? I mean, if they keep taking these out of the box stances on these shows, like I'm really interested for Loki. I think that's another one that you can do something really different with. Falcon and Winter Soldier, Hawkeye, like those to me can fit kind of in the same grouping as far as presentation goes. But there's some of these that are going to be shot that I think you have a chance to go outside the box like they did here with WandaVision and make it into something that's completely different that'll keep people drawn to the shows themselves.
Yeah. The trailer does make it seem like it's going to be more of a movie broken up, like you said. So I'm like I kept saying, and we talked about before, do I want to watch it week to week, or do I just want to wait and watch it like a movie? But I keep saying that I'm just going to wait and watch it, but I have a feeling I'm just going to watch it every week.
I'll do both. At some point I'm going to sit down and run through WandaVision 1 through 9 and just spend a day watching that.
I think I might watch Winter Soldier again, or maybe Winter Soldier and Civil War, just to
freshen up before.
Yeah, like the Legends episodes were good for that, but like to get the whole story again. And Winter Soldier is my favorite MCU movie, so I could watch that anytime.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, I like Winter Soldier a lot, so I'm going to hold Falcon and Winter Soldier to that movie because it seems like it's going to be that type of movie.
All right, cool. Anybody got anything else for the intro?
Seeing they were going to release the Snyder Cut on Blu-ray. In June for those who don't have HBO Max. So
who cares?
Hey, I'm picking up the deluxe edition, steelbook, hologram cover, all of it.
That's this upcoming Friday, right?
Target exclusive. Friday, Thursday. You said right?
The 18th.
Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday.
Yeah. And one quick thing on the gaming front too, I forgot about this. The new God of War comic came out. It's called Fallen God, and it takes place after God of War 3. So if you're God of War fans of the gaming and that stuff, this whole comic's going to take place after the third one. So yeah, that's an important. Like, there's a big gap in between the third one and this remake that just came out in 2018. So this is hopefully will fill up that time slot.
I got to get back into God of War. I played the first one.
This latest one is where to go.
Yeah, I
hated God of War until this one.
I liked the first one a lot, and then I just got out of gaming for a while, and now that I can get back into it, I gotta get back on and check that out again.
We're to a PlayStation. That's what got to get you.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe when the Slim comes out.
The odd man.
Yeah, I'm the odd man. We know how that streak's been going. One got to go. We'll see that forward shoot for a fourth week in a row. All right, what do we got in the intro here to wrap it up before we jump into the bell to bell and the rest of the show?
I realized I'm real slow watching myself eat. I'm thinking I'm quick. No. Seeing myself on camera is terrible.
I see a little speak.
At least you're not pulling them 25-cent chip bags out the corner store bag that you went and ran down the street before the show started. You sat down with that. You got that penny candy store. You got the penny candy spot.
The thank you bag.
Yeah, the thank you bag with the grape and the orange drink. You got the grape and orange drink in there. All right, let's wrap up this intro and get into the rest of it. We're 30 minutes in. The show sucks.
All right, let's get into bell to bell.
All right, let's just listen.
How are you in the cut? I didn't even my prop up when you got a whole scarf on.
Oh, we'll change it up too.
Hey, you know he's the sea salt of the earth over there.
I'll take that.
So listen, we'll just jump straight into AEW and cover AEW. Obviously, last Sunday was Revolution. Granted, we record a week after, so a lot of the discussion has already been had regarding the pay-per-view. However, since we got the pay-per-view and Dynamite, we can kind of break down both and see if the Acme explosion, the Wile E. Coyote bang that happened at the end of Revolution was salvaged at all based off of what they did on Dynamite. So overall, thoughts on Revolution, the pay-per-view itself, hits, misses, what'd you like, what you didn't like?
I didn't mind the card at all. I actually enjoyed the pay-per-view itself. I'm not sure if I was like, I liked everything about it except the brass ring and Christian coming out.
The golden inner tube?
Yeah.
That was I don't like the cinema matches, but I actually enjoyed that match.
Yeah.
That was probably the best done cinematic match I think I've seen.
Because it kind of felt like a match too. It wasn't necessarily just cinema. And I think that might have helped it out.
I didn't need Sting to pick up the win, but I enjoyed it.
I know some people were crapping on, oh, you have all this going on, and then you have him win in the middle of a ring with a scorpion death drop. And it's like, really, that's what we're going to nitpick on? Like that's what your gripe is that, a wrestling match ended in a wrestling ring.
I don't mind that part. That was
I don't mind that either.
I was expecting
Darby got out of the match, though. I mean, there really couldn't be any way for him to get back into it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was done really well. The card itself. So, I guess if you just kind of run through, we're not going to break down every match, but just some thoughts on what I saw based off of what. So Jericho, MJF, and the Bucks. The match itself was good, but they told the wrong story in the match.
Mm-hmm.
The story going in was that the Young Bucks' dad got bloodied and beaten up by MJF and Jericho, and you come out and you just do all your normal Young Bucks spots. Like, they should have came out and just beat the living shit out of Jericho and MJF. Like, go that route with it. Be different. Don't come out and give me all your 9 super kicks and Meltzer drivers and everything else. Like, do something different, because the storyline going into it was tailor-made for you to do something different in a match.
Do they really have something different, though?
But this was the perfect opportunity for show that they do something different.
Because we've seen them as faces, we've seen them as Bullet Club members, we've seen them as elite, being heels. And it's usually, it's always the same thing, just different variations, of it. They might have a little more attitude this time.
I just thought that they could have had the opportunity to really. I mean, if my dad gets beat up by 2 dudes and they bloodied him, and me and my brother are fighting them, like, I'm not going to be doing, Meltzer drivers and super kicks and everything else. Like,
yeah,
it's just ground and pound you. And like, there was just, to me, that was the disconnect in the match. The story going into it not the story that they told throughout the course of the match.
Not that I needed it at all, but I really expected Papa Buck to show up in the match. I am glad that he didn't, but that's what I was expecting.
Yeah, he's no need for him to show up.
Yeah, I didn't need it. I figured, he's gonna do a super kick or something, and
nah. Nah.
So there was that. The tag team battle royale, I thought was good.
The end of that was just
Oh man,
good.
Phoenix and Jungle Boy. Woo.
There were people that were actually like, oh, there's no storytelling in this battle royale, and I'm like,
No need.
what story do you need told in a battle royale?
Yeah, no second. No.
Well, it was like the main. I guess the main gripe that I saw was the end, like with Phoenix and Jungle Boy, that they, you know, it was just move, and then elimination. There was no, and I'm like, but you got different stories told throughout the entire battle royal. Like, you know what I mean? The whole like QT Marshall thing, regardless of whether or not you're into that, but that's setting up like a lower card storyline. Like, you had stuff throughout the battle royal itself, and the end you did get a story. You had Jungle Boy against both Pac and Phoenix, and it was, could he overcome the both of them? And he got one out, but he couldn't overcome both of them. So like, I don't understand what the bitching and moaning was for that. I thought it was done really well. Phoenix, I don't know how he doesn't break a hip or a tailbone every time he does that dive under the guardrail, because it gets crazier and crazier each time he does it. Like,
was it? Was it in? Because I forget, between AEW Dynamite and the pay-per-view this week. Was it the pay-per-view where he dove through the ropes and then landed in the crowd?
Yeah, he dove through the ropes and skipped like a rock. He skipped off of the guardrail into the crowd. Like, so I said, I don't know how he doesn't hurt something. I'm okay with Phoenix and Pac picking up the win here.
Yeah, me too.
The only gripe is that the match itself with the Young Bucks, it may be too similar to Phoenix and Penta against the Young Bucks, because Pac is similar in style, but he also brings a nasty streak too. So, you know, I'm fine with them getting the push here to challenge the Bucks. It'll be something different, especially if you're going to have Penta go off and start his single stuff, which we'll get into later when we talk about Dynamite.
And then we also saw on Dynamite this week too that it looked like SCU was watching in the wings. So it looks like there's, like Steve, you were talking that you thought they were going to win the match. So it looks like they're going to continue on, possibly. Maybe whoever wins, whenever they have this tag title match, whoever wins it, you know, SCU might be coming after next.
Yeah, SCU's ranked number 1 right now in the tag teams. So they're out there. And like I said, that storyline with SCU on the prediction show I ran with, like that's tailor made to have them versus the Young Bucks, and then that be how SCU, you know, ends it with Daniels moving.
That could be a great match at Double or Nothing.
Who, SCU and Young Bucks?
Yeah.
I don't think you need to put it on at Double or Nothing though.
You wouldn't give SCU their farewell at Double or Nothing?
No,
I'd put on Dynamite.
No, I would save it and slow burn it and leave it for All Out.
We'll have to wait and see.
So we have a bunch of dark wins coming up.
I mean, you can do it at Double or Nothing. Like, you know, that I wouldn't mind that, depending on, you got plenty of time. You got 8-9 weeks. Depending on when you give Pac and Phoenix their shot. So, and then we had the face of the Revolution ladder match, Scorpio Sky, who I said, I predicted him to win on the prediction show. He was the right call there. The match itself was good. I just felt at times like each wrestler was on pause waiting for the next spot. Like there were a couple times where you saw, like I remember specifically, Penta was standing in the corner and like he kind of did their old double Dutch fake, like waiting until it was set up for him to go and do the next move. Like at times it felt like that, and it went a little long. The one thing that I did notice, and I'm interested to hear you guys. Cody got a lot of boos in that match.
Talk to that.
Like, did you? I don't know if you guys picked up on it or not, or your thoughts on it, but he was not.
There was too much emphasis on him,
especially when he got his arm hurt and that stuff, and they took him up into the tunnel, and you could see them like up in the tunnel looking out. Like, okay, this spot is next. Okay, go down now and run out there.
Well, I noticed the boos more prevalent once he came back out of the tunnel and came back into the ring.
People were assuming it was probably going to be him winning.
Probably.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, he took probably two of the biggest bumps in that match. He took the freaking. The destroyer onto the ladder, and then he took the superplex from Archer off the ladder. Like, he definitely gave in that match, and Scorpio knocked him off the ladder to grab the brass ring. So,
and then when it felt like it was been Scorpio's time to get all the shine, they're worried about Cody's shoulder on the exit.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm a little upset that they hot shot at Scorpio versus Darby on Dynamite this past week.
Mm-hmm. I didn't like that at all.
I didn't like the match either.
We can get into that later on Dynamite.
But the way it ended, we'll do it when we go into it later.
Yeah, I thought the women's match on the card was excellent. They beat the shit out of each other.
I like that. Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about that last week. Like, are they going to actually give them time to show the Japanese Joshi style and just have them go at each other? And they did, and they went at it, and it was probably one of my favorite matches on the card from the pay-per-view itself. So
she reminds me of like the female version of what's his name, Toro Yano, the dude who the gimmick dude over in New Japan.
Yeah.
There's a DVD.
Yeah.
No.
I like her with all of her Rainmaker get up, the coat. She had the big chain and everything, the glasses.
That was good. The beatdown afterwards was what it was. It set up for the six woman tag on Dynamite. So there was that there, and then I guess Hangman. Hangman and Matt Hardy gave a really good match.
I fell asleep there.
That actually was one of my matches of the night.
Yeah, it really was. Hangman's a star. Like, I already felt that way going into it. But he went in there. They showed up and showed out. Those two, you could easily argue that as being match of the night. I saw a lot of people picking that as their match of the night. So that match was really good.
That match definitely sold me on Hangman. I mean, for 2 years now, I think we've all known that at some point Hangman's going to be the guy in the company, and it's just been trying to build him up to get there. I think that match was the match that he finally clicked for me.
Yeah. So, and if you have him beat Omega for the belt, there's that long-term storytelling that you know what I mean, that you're talking about that we want to see in wrestling.
But I love the stuff they're doing with Dark Order and him right now. That's entertaining.
It's great. It's great. The lawnmower segment on Dynamite this week was hilarious. It was a BTE skit that they put on Dynamite, is what it was. It worked perfectly. It fit everything. So
Silver and Paige just crack me up together. Silver has that man crush on him, and it's so hilarious.
So then let's get into the sparklers heard around the world.
That guy.
You gotta get your point right.
And I'm not even drinking the Jameson yet.
I'm gonna save my take, because then this is how we can segue into Dynamite. So go around the horn here. What'd you guys think of the match itself? What'd you think of the ending, and how the pay-per-view went off the air?
I didn't mind the match. It was just a typical extreme match. Again, I'm not for the extreme anymore. and then the ending, I'm expecting the Japanese, type of explosions from the ones we used to watch back in the days. And then you just got the sparklers. And then my dad was like, so I stayed up for 5 hours for this shit. And I was like, I got to go to work in a couple hours. I stayed up for this shit. It was so.
I'm not an Extreme Rules guy. None of that barbed wire thumbtack stuff. So it was just watchable. But as soon as Gallows and them came in, I'm like, I'm over this shit. I can't take Festus at all.
Those guys should just be signed to AEW. I see them more on AEW.
It's like they say they play the same role everywhere. The same role, every promotion.
It's them just living their gimmick now. I enjoyed the main event.
How people live in gimmicks.
I enjoyed the main event. I thought it was a good match. Unfortunately, the ending, I think, didn't necessarily ruin the match. It just kind of left the pay-per-view, just on a bad left the pay-per-view with a bad taste in your mouth. That was supposed to be your payoff, and it just didn't happen. But I thought the match was good. My complaint with hardcore matches now is that they use fake stuff in it. And I get why they do, but it just looks, to me, it just looks like trash whenever you do it. Like, Ambrose was on the outside. I think he had, like, suplex Kenny Omega in, like, the table of barbed wire. And, like, he's acting like he's, like, getting himself out of the barbed wire. And you can just see there's no barbed wire stuck to him because that was for the fake barbed wire. And it's just like, okay, you're overselling this whenever it shouldn't be. It's just like, that's my complaint with hardcore matches. Like, don't do it if, like, I don't know. It's something I'd really want to see it be real barbed wire, but I don't want to see it be fake shit either. Like, maybe do something different instead of barbed wire. But,
I thought the match itself was really good. I thought they told a really good story in the match. They didn't automatically go into them touching the ropes and having the explosions go off. They built to that. I think Bully Ray always says, Vince always told him, they only remember how the show ends, kid, or in some paraphrasing there. But
yeah.
The ending was set up. You had Eddie Kingston come out. You get this babyface turn, saves Moxley, and then you don't get any payoff because of how bad the explosion was at the end. And whether or not it was a technical botch and what they had set up didn't go off, or what Tony Khan came out and said after the show was that, it was set up to be, hey, Kenny was the one that built the ring. Like, Kenny was the one that built this.
He's not a pyrotechnician.
And he's not yet. Like, he handed the blueprints over on a napkin and, like, drawn up with stick figures. Like, what'd you guys expect? If that was the case, and Tony also said, they worked with the fire marshals and everything else, like, how much of an explosion do you expect to actually have in an arena with people? Like, what could you, how big of an explosion can you possibly get? I just think if the case was that you were going to do it to make Omega look like he can't build an exploding death match, then have the heels come back out after the sparklers go out and, like, laugh at the baby faces.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, come out and hot, we got you high, and then don't have Moxley and Kingston selling it the way that they were selling it.
Yeah. If it was so different, like, if he was, like, in shock that it didn't go off, maybe that'd have been, like, better.
Yeah, or he would have got up and just been looking at, like, Moxley, like, hey, you okay? Like, something like that. Like, got up.
And the announcers were selling it to death. Like, there's cadavers in the ring. What are they doing? But yet you see Moxley, like, breathing in and out.
So I don't know who it was this week, but I heard someone from AEW say that there was something that didn't go off.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Omega was apparently furious after the pay-per-view because that, their production, whatever whatever they had planned, even though they tested it before and it worked fine, it didn't work on the pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. So at that point in time, you have to have somebody call an audible on the fly. You're live. You got to do something. Like I said, have him and the Good Brothers come back out, yelling on stage, laughing. The announcers at that point can go from selling the explosion to go, wait a second, what's happening here? Wait, did they mean for it to be like that? Like, could have went completely different. Or instead of Moxley grabbing the microphone after the pay-per-view went off the air and say Kenny Omega can't build an exploding ring for shit, have him cut that before the pay-per-view goes black. So that way your baby faces are still fine. Like, you completely killed what are now your top two baby faces because they're selling this death explosion that never happened.
Or check on Kingston.
Yeah. Like, I even thought, like, you could have done something, like, you could have had the camera on the ring, like, during the countdown, and had people, like, around the outside putting more stuff, too. Like, maybe, like, more pyro of some sort. And, like, that would have made more. But just the way they had Kingston trying to protect Moxley, it seems like something was supposed to happen in the ring. Mm-hmm. And that's where it just got lost.
So I was, I saw it, I go off, and I go, okay, realistically, this is the first big snafu that AEW has faced as a company as far as like the ending of a show, right? This is the first big blunder. Obviously, you had the Matt Hardy and Sammy Guevara incident, where Hardy cracked his head and shouldn't even have continued, and that was a big thing. But as far as like slowing momentum down for the company, you had a great go-home show, one of the better go-home shows into a pay-per-view. You have a strong card, and then you have a very just weak ending. So I was curious to see how are they going to attack this on Dynamite? How are they going to spin this to make it believable? And everybody was like, well, just let Eddie Kingston cut a promo. And I'm like, they have that much faith in Eddie Kingston on the microphone that he can talk his way out of this. And what they do? Let Eddie Kingston cut a promo. And I thought what he said and what he did and how he set it up, it worked for me. It was like, okay, great. Like,
they all spun it well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They spun it well. Like Kingston saying, that stressful of an environment caused him to have the anxiety and panic attack to where he blacked out, like whenever he was in jail. Like all that worked for me. And then Moxley coming back and making fun of Omega and the whole Acme line, and then the blame it on Impact paid for the bomb, which is
that was good.
Just great. Like I was over it. The dud of the explosion, I was past it at that point. It was in my rearview mirror. I wasn't thinking about it. They did a good job of moving it on. Then you have Omega's segment come out and just completely, in my eyes, wiped away all the good that Moxley and Kingston did and just took it back down another level.
Yeah.
That Omega segment was terrible for me.
Oh, it was horrible.
I like the detention line.
69 me, Dawn. That was a line that was
that there.
And then you get an overhead shot of
I'm doing it.
That was it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. The good of the Kingston Moxley segment was completely washed away with that. 100% agree.
And which makes it even makes it even worse is because you had Kingston come out and the build up to him actually like, all right, enough's enough, and punching Omega, like all that was great. It built up again, and then it just sunk it down. Like I don't know. It just now it's in a weird spot. Like it's in a weird spot now. Like is Kingston going to be the next challenger to Omega? You had Christian Cage come out, who was the big reveal at the pay-per-view. Have him and Omega face off eye to eye, and have him grab the belt. He still hasn't said a word yet.
My buddy Greg listens.
Man, that was blasphemous right there.
My buddy Greg listens, and he loves Christians. So I don't know if he can't see this, but thumbs down.
Thumbs down with him being the reveal, or thumbs down from the segment on Wednesday?
The reveal and the segment.
Yeah, I'm with Jason with the reveal and the segment, just everything. It was like it didn't move no meter for me at all with him. Not at all. Him coming out, it's like, no. Again, my legend taking that stuff. Well, he's a quote legend. He shouldn't even be up there. But him coming out during all these top guys and everything, no, get out of here. And him picking up the title was blasphemous. That's going to assume people being like, oh, he's the next challenger for the title. No, the only title he should be picking up is the good old hot dog stand. Hot dogs, $1.50.
I'm not gonna shit on into that.
No, it was Kill Jason took it on Oreo.
Was it the? I mean, look, like we ran through names on the prediction show. Short of Brock Lesnar and CM Punk, there really wasn't there wasn't going to be a name that lived up to the hype of the reveal. If you just would have had him be a surprise reveal on the pay-per-view, I think it would have been better. But the hype going into it just kind of all right. He was on Renee Paquette's or Renee Good Oral Sessions podcast this week, and he signed a multi-year deal, and he's going to be an in-ring competitor. As of right now, he's not going to be doing anything specifically backstage in any type of role. Now, whether that will change, who knows? So he's coming in. He's been medically cleared, and he's coming in to have one last run and to give a couple years with the final years that he does have. He plans on doing it with AEW. He said it came very quickly, came out of left field. He talked to Edge about it as far as, whether or not he should even take the call and listen to Tony Khan. And, Edge told him, hey, at this point in your career, you'd be stupid not to listen. So
Edge almost won.
He took the call, listened, and yeah, like he was like, it came about all within like a week. So do I automatically want to see him in Omega? No, not necessarily. Give it some time to breathe, have him in some other matches, but I think it's a really good signing. Christian is probably one of the most underrated talents ever. And if you listen to anybody in the business talk about Christian, he's one of the best workers that a lot of people say they've ever been in the ring with.
Booker T really put him over this week on his podcast. He said he was upset that Christian went to AEW. Not so much that he left. He just didn't understand how WWE could just let him go. He said, to me, there's no reason that he should have left. He goes, anytime I had a match with Christian, he goes, that was like a night off. He goes, because he did everything.
And everybody says that, like, across the board, from your top guys to your mid carders. Like, everybody says, getting in the ring with Christian, like, Moxley was like, hey, when we were running the Shield and going up against them guys, like, we thought we knew a lot, and then we get in the ring with Christian and we go, oh, there's a whole nother level to this wrestling thing that we know nothing about. And everybody says that about him. Yeah. So
he's essentially the Miz?
No.
Not.
No, I think he's just one of those guys that, he might not be the guy, but he has so much knowledge that, he's going to be able to help out. He did it. He's done it in WWE. He did it in TNA. And hopefully for the sake of the good of the company, it's a good signing for AEW. I don't need him to be put hot shot into the main event because I don't need it to feel like TNA.
True. But I think he's one of those guys where, as fans watching it, you can't really grasp the greatness of him. Like, if every wrestler that has ever said anything about him continuously puts him over as one of the best that they've ever been in the ring with, from, work rate wise, match wise, psychology wise, just mind for the business. If everybody continues to come out and say that about him, like, there's no reason for me to think otherwise. I think he's so good that you just don't really pick up on how good he is on TV. If that makes any sense. Like a lot of people say,
my only problem is,
a lot of people say Orton's the same way. Like he's so good, it almost comes off as if he doesn't care if he's not trying. But it's just because he's that good that it
just comes so natural to him.
Yeah, but everybody that talks about Orton puts him up there as one of the greatest workers ever. So like I said, I'm not gonna shit on it. The hype oversold it because of the hype. If it was just a surprise, it would have been way better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The problem I have with them signing Sting and Christian and Paul White is these guys are going to wrestle, and especially take Christian and Sting, that they're going to be active people every week on the show. There's come to a point where, okay, like you have them wrestle constantly, but they don't go after the title. Like, I think that's going to be the thing. At some point, they're going to be putting them in the title, and they're going to put the titles on these guys just because if they don't win the title there, are they really considered the greatest? And I think that's just going to catch up to them after a while. It's great that they're working there, and helping out with the young talent. But if they're there for 5 years and they've never really been put in the title picture or never had the title, like, do you consider their AEW stint anything worthy if they're not a champion? Are they really the greatest if they weren't champion there?
I don't think Big Show Paul White is going to be. He may have a match or two, but I don't think he's going to be in the ring as much as Christian or Sting.
I hope not.
And I don't think Sting is going to be in the ring that much. Sting's gonna have these type of cinematic matches. Maybe have one or two true in-ring matches. Christian, to me, I think will be the one that'll be in ring more. Based off of everything that he has said and what he wants to do in this last run of his career. And I'm okay with that. Like, he's 47, he's not 54, he's not Goldberg. Like, he looked great in the Rumble. So like, let him go. Let him have some of these matches. Let him put over some of these younger guys. Like,
one of the questions that I thought of this week, and I never really looked it up. Does anybody know why Christian just stopped wrestling? Was it an injury, or was it that they just were done with him?
Concussions.
Yeah, concussions. Okay.
Concussions. Yeah, it was concussion. So he was Daniel Bryan before Daniel Bryan.
Okay.
And he kind of where he said like how he got back into it. He went into the stuff with Orton during the Orton and Drew stuff and was like, can't be touched, nothing, you know what I mean? Like, and that didn't sit well with him. So like he went on his own and went out to different medical centers and everything else and all the tests. Everybody came back and said, hey, you're above average in all of these. Like, you're passing these with flying colors. Like, you're fine. So then he went into like, okay, well, let me get back into shape and everything else. And it was kind of like, hey, when they called him to bring him back in for that last little thing with Orton and Drew, he told him, hey, I'm cleared. Like, I'm cleared. I'm in shape. This is what you're getting. And that's how it kind of led to him getting back into the Rumble this year. So yeah, but hey, if he comes back in and gives one last run, I'm fine with it. Like, do a 2-3 year deal, and then if you want to work backstage, work backstage. If not, call it a career. I'm fine with it. Like,
no,
I don't have it. Does he need to be in the main event picture the entire 3 years that he's there? No. Will he get a shot? Probably. And I think a match with him and Omega would be really good. So yeah, we'll see how it plays out. I'm not gonna shit on it automatically, like somebody on this podcast does. Anytime a legend or somebody over 45 comes out on the entrance ramp.
Hey, every company we build into the future. Hey,
so hold on. Here's a sidebar question, since you just brought that up. And I was gonna bring this up later on when we talk about WWE, but since you brought it up now, you need stars to make stars. right? Like you have to have stars to put over other people to make them into stars. If you don't
I think you need them to help elevate their in-ring work too.
Right. So if you don't have those people, then you're never going to be able to build stars, which I think the crux of WWE's issue is they don't have stars to make new stars. And there could be a plethora of reasons as to why that is the case now. But if you have Jericho, if you have Christian, you have Sting, like they can help elevate people, whether it's in-ring work-wise, character work-wise, presentation-wise, whatever. They can help elevate people. And if you take those names away, like, does anybody in AEW truly become a star?
To me, Sting just took away from Darby Allin.
How? Because Sting got the win? Like, how did Sting take away from Darby?
What's the last relevant thing Darby Allin did?
Darby was the workhorse in that match.
Sting every week.
I kind of agree with Jason. I think that they focused more on Sting each week than they did on Darby.
Yeah.
It's like I said during our prediction show too. It's like you kind of forgot that Darby was the TNT champion because they really didn't do much with him while this feud was building. I get that was the point.
Wasn't the
while they were doing that, but
then you talk about more about Cage and Taz. What do you talk about Darby Allin in this feud?
I mean, you sit there and you have a TNT championship that was being defended almost every week or every other week for a while, and then during this feud, it just became non-existent. And like you couldn't have had Darby in a match from time to time, then Team Taz get involved instead of Sting coming out talking about nothing or doing nothing each week.
But, I mean, Darby wrestled Cage. He had a match for it. Like, you can't expect every TNT champion to be Cody and have a match every week on Dynamite.
I don't think it needs to be every week, but it can be more consistent than what it's been with Darby.
So now the feud's over. Darby comes out. He wrestles this past week against Scorpio, and now you'll get Darby more on TV with the belt. Like,
but why did they have to stop that with the feud?
Hopefully not pair with Sting.
Well, he wasn't with Sting this week.
Yeah, Sting and Archer got their thing going now.
Yeah, like it was they were completely separate. They weren't around each other at all. So like the feud's over with, it's done. They had the payoff match. So will they intersect at some point in time? Probably again. But I mean, like for now, like they're done. They're gonna move on to different things. Like you don't think Darby being with Sting, whether or not you like the feud, you don't think Darby being with Sting helped elevate Darby at all?
He was already
3 months, 2 months
fast track.
For me, I think it cooled Darby off with me a bit. I don't think it hot shot him. It cooled it off.
Just because he wasn't defending the title.
Not necessarily don't defend the title. They weren't, other than him going in the ring cutting a promo with Sting, he wasn't doing much.
He was like
learn to cut a promo.
He was like Sting's sidekick the whole time. That's the thing. Like
it was the same thing week in, week out.
Yeah.
That's why I said if you just don't look at it from the how do I want to say this? So Dominic and Ray, obviously Dominic is not getting any type of anything from being associated with Ray. And granted, that's his dad, so the dynamic's a little bit different, but I'm just trying to draw a comparison here. We all know Dominic's not getting anything out of being with Ray. Like whatever rub and whatever was supposed to be put on Dominic from being associated with Ray in matches, whatever, it's just not working. Not the case. Like, so, like, you don't think, I don't know. I just think Darby being with Sting helped elevate Darby even more, regardless of whether or not you enjoyed the storyline. And the fact that he wasn't defending the belt over the course of the feud had nothing to do with me thinking that Darby wasn't elevated coming out of this. I mean, he had the moment of the match.
Oh, I'm not taking anything away from the match. The match was great. I just think that the whole build-up, it didn't elevate Darby in any way. Like all you did was really pair him with Sting. Like, he didn't do anything to do it. The match was fine. I'm not putting the match in the equation. It's just the whole build-up to it just did nothing to elevate Darby for me.
All right.
He was already fine. You said
Wednesday you didn't like the match with Scorpio?
Not really.
Just because it was a basic wrestling match?
Like, I enjoyed it.
I was expecting more. Yeah, I was expecting more. I don't know. More flips and dips.
No, but see, I like that because it shows a different side of Darby. Just that he's not hardcore and all this stuff. He can actually get down and technical wrestle.
Technical
I like
wrestling.
that. I like seeing different sides of, like, you know, of wrestlers and what they can do. Not like Moxley. I'm just going straight hardcore and all that stuff. But, you know, something else. So I enjoyed that match. I did.
And I wasn't expecting something totally different from both of them together.
So I thought Scorpio gave a couple good offensive moves onto Darby. Like Darby did, like the coffin drop from the top rope, and Scorpio was a powerbomb he turned into. Yep. Yeah, that was good.
That was a great counter. He hit the freaking cutter on the suicide
cutter
dive.
on the outside. Yeah,
that was insane. And then the triple suplexes where he freaking readjusted and did the release German into the freaking turnbuckles. I thought Darby was dead on that.
But I felt the same way during the Young Bucks in Phoenix. I'm not saying I didn't like it. It was just a different type of match that I was expecting. Like, it was a slower pace.
I like the fact Phoenix won that match.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whether or not they win the belts is a different thing, but the fact that he went over, I'm really happy with that.
I think he had to. I think, like, if he would have had had Nat beat him in that match, it'd been like, okay, like, it doesn't do anything for that build. So Phoenix needed to go over in that match.
True.
I didn't like that they hot shot the TNT title match this week, like you guys brought up before, but we're definitely gonna get a repeat of that just because of the ending of Scorpio kind of turning heel, I guess, in a way.
No, he turned. He even walked out the different tunnel. The announcers.
I was listening to that. Like, what does that mean? Is there a heel side and a face side?
Yep.
Yeah,
there is.
Yeah, there is. That's old school.
Looking at the stage, left is heel, right is face.
Yeah, you never noticed that.
Yeah, that's old school. You know, like, I don't want to say TNA. Well, TNA did it with the entrances on different sides of the ring. But if you go back to even
if I'm if I'm on the stage, this side is heel.
If you're looking at the television, right? Yeah. You're watching it on TV.
The
entrance to your left is heel.
Right is face.
To your right is face.
So Arch is a face.
He's Big Show right now. He keeps flip flopping.
Okay,
in the middle, but yeah.
Okay, because I was thinking, who's coming through? I'm like, is it heel or face? Because I keep seeing other people.
The most noticeable was Omega. Whenever he started doing like the black silhouette thing. Remember, he was face. Whenever he first started his cleaner thing.
He was on the right.
He was on the right-hand side. But then whenever he finally won the title.
No, whenever he came on the left.
Yeah, but when he won the title, he's always on the left now.
No.
Yeah.
It's,
I have to go back and look.
It's supposed to give you the illusion that there's two locker rooms, a heel locker room and a face locker room. Like, that was the whole
thing. Pull the wool over your eyes again.
I thought they wanted heels and faces.
That's another argument for another day.
Yeah. So the rest of Dynamite, I know we're running long hair on this segment this week, and we didn't even touch WWE yet, but
there's not much to touch.
Rest of Dynamite, I love the Penta promo that he cut on Cody. If you're the Prince of Pro Wrestling, I'm the God of Lucha Libre. That's an automatic shirt.
Cody squash matches.
Huh?
Out of here. Please get Cody squash matches out of here.
Well, they did that to set up him and Penta. Like, I get why they did it. I don't need it. I tweeted that out. I'm like, we're having a Cody squash match.
I'm gonna call him Generic Boots. Who is this guy?
But I'm all for a Cody and Penta feud.
I I mean, you got that line about his daughter, and it's just like, okay, that automatically puts you into it. Then the real stuff invests you in the match. Yeah.
Yep,
you got your brawl, so you know.
There we go. All right, and then let's get into the. I know the women, and then we have the announcement for the women main eventing Dynamite this week, which is huge. Unsanctioned lights out match, Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa. We'll touch more on that next week after it happens. But let's get into the big closing angle from the main event segment this week. I'm watching the show and I'm like, where's the War Council? And I'm like, okay, so they're putting it on last. Obviously, something is going down, right? And then they hit us with a swerve that I wasn't expecting, although I really enjoyed what they did. So I watched
NXT this week, and I turned off the main event of NXT to go on to AEW because I knew if they were ending with that segment, something was
going to happen, right?
Yeah.
So
you're a terrible person, Chris.
I am.
Your duty.
But again, that's another conversation for another day, Jason.
just to say, I was shocked at everything.
I completely, like I said, the swerve got me. I tweeted that out. I'm like, it was not what I was expecting at all. But I'm so glad they did what they did.
I knew going in, so it was just nothing to me. It was just straight. So when I went in, I was just picking stuff apart.
You didn't like it at all?
AEW Jason.
I can bust your open.
WWE Jason.
I didn't know a closed I can bust your forehead open. That's the first thing I caught.
No, it was the ring. He hit him with the ring. His hand didn't even face. I know.
My thing is, they need to work on their camera angles. That's what they need to work on.
And a lot of people say that
everything apart, like the chair into the corner, looked like it was going to be a devastating move, but then you seen the pause real quick, like cut it from a different angle.
No, I mean, a lot of people have said that about AEW and the way they shoot their show, that they do need a change in production with some of their camera shots.
They also don't have a person that's done it for 40 years,
Don't be as extreme as WWE though. They've cut like every damn second.
Every punch.
You
get the punch left side, right side, left side, right side.
But without going into like nitpicking camera angles and all that stuff, what do you think of the actual angle itself?
I thought it was good.
I didn't care for it.
Yeah.
How do you not care for that?
I don't get anybody involved. I hate FTR. I hate Jericho. I hate Wardlow.
It's long-term storytelling.
Yes, it is. Yes, it was.
It's also Jason over here.
It goes back to the beginning of the pandemic, whenever Shawn Spears and MJF are sitting next to each other gambling on that.
Spears. These guys do nothing for me. Nothing, man. Nothing. I haven't been impressed yet.
The story itself. The story itself.
The story we knew was coming. The story we knew was coming.
We didn't know that they were going to do this.
You knew he was going to turn. Just like you knew Shane was going to turn.
I knew that MJF was going to turn, but not like this.
Not like this.
You really think MJF was going to start his own group?
I knew MJF was going to turn.
Okay.
But turned. So anything that's a surprise. He turned.
No, you're crazy.
The band.
You're absolutely crazy. You're crazy.
But if you would have, like, we've been talking, so this is episode 28. We've been talking about this group potentially being a group for 28 episodes now. At some point, we're going to see a group.
You guys were talking.
Never, I don't think, has anybody said that MJF is going to be the leader. And that, I think, is the twist here. We knew that something was coming with certain guys.
You said it last week. You said
I said last week when we talked about a potential 4 horsemen, if you're gonna take the Flair, Tully, Arn, Wyndham, and you have FTR as Tully and Arn, and you have Spears as Wyndham, who could potentially be the Flair of the group? And I said MJF.
Now you're surprised?
Yeah, because I never
that it happened.
I was, because never would I have expected.
If it's plausible, it's not a surprise. If you thought it up, it's not a surprise.
So wait, did you like the ending? Did you like the ending of AEW better than the ending of NXT when you had Kyle O'Reilly come back, and then you had Karrion Kross stand behind Balor? Like,
Nah, because I was asleep. I fell asleep on that. I had to go back and watch it.
Jesus Christ.
Nah.
But the swerve got me. Nobody expected it for him to.
You expected it.
Nobody expected it.
You expected it last week.
No, our discussion last week was not an expectation. Our discussion last week was a hypothetical. If they hypothetically got the 4 horsemen back together, who would you put in the Flair role? And Chris brought up Cody, and I said I would put MJF because he's the closest thing to Flair.
And you called it.
But it's not the 4. But it's not the and. This
the
is
six horsemen. I'm sorry, the 6 horsemen.
This is the other thing that chapped me, and people were going, "Oh, it's the 4 horsemen. It's the 4 horsemen." And I'm like, "Can you not count? There's 5 people.
Look,
5 is not 4."
Wardlow's
Wardlow's the muscle. He's not an actual member. I'm like, what are you talking about?
He's a member.
Yeah, like there's 5 people.
And Tully got in the ring one time too. So hey, he's a member.
So Wardlow actually tweeted out a picture of them standing on the stage after Wardlow powerbombed Jericho through the table, and it was a picture and has just emojis. So in order, it was Wardlow, MJF, FTR, Tully, and Sean Spears, and so he had the emojis of the goat above Tully, and he had a gorilla above him as the muscle, and then the other ones he had like the 4 horsemen. So I don't know if that was him trying to explain that he's the muscle, they're the 4 horsemen, and then there's Tully as the manager.
He is the Mongo McMichaels.
The one you like him.
If you don't like this angle, like in 2021 in wrestling storytelling, if you don't like this angle that's been built up for 4 months since MJF started with Jericho, 5 months, 6
even
months
longer if you go back to the beginning of the whole thing.
Back to Le Dinner Debonair, whatever. Like, if you don't like the way that they told this story and the payoff for it, then I don't know. Then you I don't know. I can't talk wrestling with you if you don't like this.
They caught me wool over the eyes. They sold me on all of it. They did. Like,
I think it's easier to have the conversation with Jason on what he likes in AEW than what he doesn't like.
It was like with Sammy coming back in the ring with all the stuff in the locker room, and then with Santana Ortiz and Hager about the Eternal Jericho. I mean, I was sitting there like it was a drama. I was like, oh my God, like, look at this.
That's every wrestling move ever. I
was sold. I was sold on everything. I was sold.
You've seen it a million times, and you fell for it too.
I did. I admit, I did. I fell for it. And then whenever MJF was like, I started my own inner circle, and then the lights popped on, I was like, oh shit! Like,
you like the girl in the stands that was faking it.
When's the last time WWE did an angle like this, Jay?
Like
Retribution.
Just cut the show. Jesus. Just cut it. I mean, honestly, if you think back, WWE, the last time you had a swerve like this,
Nexus?
Adam Cole.
What, just recently?
Would it be
Cole on Balor? Is that what you're talking about? Just recently with Cole on Balor?
Yeah.
No, absolutely not. That's nowhere near this. There's nowhere near on this. That's nowhere near on this.
You saw Cole O'Reilly coming?
Yeah.
You did?
Because they've only been talking about it for months. It was all over. Like, it was all over every dirt sheet, every wrestling website you went to. It was the breakup of Undisputed Era and who was going to be the face, who was going to be the heel coming out of it.
The two that got me probably is Seth turning, because everybody thought it was going to be Dean turning.
Seth, I was going to say Seth is probably the last. That one, and then I would say the Festival of Friendship with Jericho and Owens was probably the last one.
I was going to say The Rock turning with the McMahons.
Damn,
we're going deep back.
You went digging.
Well, that was the last time WWE was good. You had their shit show Monday night. The first hour and 15 minutes was a repeat of last week's Raw. Yep. You ran the same matches back. You had Braun and Shane come out, do their gimmick again. Miz gets beat for the belt in 3 minutes, but yet this week he's having a 2-segment match. Drew and Sheamus just automatically escalated into a no DQ match that ended with them banging steps off of each other and getting counted out. And then you have Shane later on in the show called Braun Stupid. I turned it off after an hour and 15 minutes, and I'm mad that I wasted an hour and 15 minutes on Monday night.
I watched the whole show.
Of course you did. You probably thought it was great.
It was excellent.
Fucking terrible. Matt Riddle giving a backstage promo talking about his scooter, where he's going to park it because he got parking tickets. And
I give it Meltzer 5 stars. I will say, I want Ali and I was about to call him Shipwreck. Not Jack. I want those two as a tag team. I will say this, Alpha Raw. I want those two. They can get the other three out of here. Call them Retribution.
They have a pay-per-view in a week, and you have no matches. You have no matches on the pay-per-view besides one.
There's 3 now after last night.
Oh, see, yeah.
We got women's tag, we got Universal, and then we got Intercontinental now.
Okay, the women's tag, they've completely ruined Sasha and Bianca.
Oh.
Completely shit-showed it.
Yeah.
But it's still an excellent match.
Hey, your biggest show of the year.
I'm not invested in it as I wanted to be.
And your biggest show of the year is still nothing.
That feud, you're not giving me the legit boss versus the EST. You're giving me this chatty catty griping back and forth over a small way who went on a shopping spree this week.
That segment was shit.
It was, but let it play out, man.
No, I have no faith in letting it play out because you want to know why I have no. You want to know why I have no faith? No, you want to know why I have no faith because they book as if you're not supposed to remember anything that happens on the show. You have Otis tagging with Dolph Ziggler. What sense does that make? With no explanation as to now Otis is a bad guy, so him and Dolph can tag together.
That's one of the matches.
Yeah,
huh?
That's one of the matches.
On SmackDown last night?
Yeah, that was on SmackDown last night.
They had Otis and Gable tag with Rude and Ziggler against the Street Profits and Ray and Dominic. It was an 8-man tag. Otis and Ziggler tag now just because Otis is a bad guy after they had a 5-month feud over Mandy Rose.
Absolutely.
That was literally just a year ago. No explanation, nothing given, just they're both bad guys, so now they can tag together.
He's an alpha male now. Alpha males don't
you explained it, Steve. You said it was a year ago. That's the reason.
Alpha males don't give a shit.
Their creative team don't give a shit because the stuff they put out week to week is terrible. This is the worst build to a WrestleMania I've ever seen.
You gonna watch? You gonna watch? You gonna watch?
Am I gonna watch Mania?
Actually, no, he doesn't. Because I get Peacock for free, so he doesn't get shit from me this year.
Yeah. That is true. Buddy. Will I watch Mania because it's the spectacle of Mania?
You're gonna watch.
Probably. Am I invested in the matches that I want to be invested in? No.
How many are you invested in?
Right now?
One.
What one is that?
Edge and Roman.
And that feigned a little bit for me last night.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because now they're gonna have
because they added Daniel Bryan into the mix.
Yeah, you added Daniel Bryan.
The man you want to be champion. God damn it. You don't want him in the mix.
But why is he in the mix? That's the thing. You're building to your Mania match. What are you throwing him in for?
Because he's calling his shot.
No, because you have a pay-per-view 3 weeks before Fastlane. And then you have a match next week between Edge and Jay to be the special enforcer on the line, brother.
So
what bullshit is that?
You don't want to see that match?
Like, why can't they both be the enforcers for each side? Like, if we have to have enforcers, put them both out there.
No, you can't do that based off of the promo that Edge and Daniel Bryan cut against each other to open the show. They're gonna have to do a lot over the next 4 weeks to get me invested to really care about Mania and actually want to tune in and watch it, and not just put it on just because it's Mania, to where I sit on my phone or do other things and it's in the background. Am I going to be invested for 2 nights of Mania right now? Absolutely not.
They need to stop.
And I'm definitely not invested for 9 straight days of WWE programming. I can tell you that much right now.
I'm watching all 9.
Man, no.
I don't have nothing else for wrestling. I need a drink.
You gonna leave NXT?
Yes, we can leave it.
We talked about NXT.
When? We didn't.
What do you mean? We talked about NXT. Listen,
we didn't. So NXT was top to bottom a solid show. And
it was an okay show, top to bottom.
I like it. Show. I liked NXT a lot too.
It was okay.
I like both, like Dynamite and NXT.
It's okay. You started off the show with your announcement where you announced 2 nights of TakeOver, which we knew was coming, and then you just hand the belts to Raquel and Dakota.
I didn't like that
at all.
I did not like that.
And then you have, after you hand them the belts, then you have Shotzi and Ember come down and challenge them. But the way they challenged them made no sense. Ember's promo made no sense.
Yeah.
Well, it would have went our way, and we ran through everybody on our side of the bracket. Yeah, but you lost to the team that's standing across from you.
Yeah.
So
basically, because they won the women's Dusty Classic, which guaranteed them a tag team title match.
The belts weren't there.
Tag belts.
Story has the belts weren't there in time.
The story what?
The story is that the belts weren't there in time.
Then why couldn't they just made on NXT this week Raquel and Dakota versus Shotzi and Ember, just to say, hey, these 2 teams are going to fight for they're going to be one of these 2 teams is going to be the women's tag champion instead of handing them titles.
Hold on, time out. The story, the actual reasoning was that the belts weren't ready in time for the Dusty Cup final, and that's why they did what they did.
Yeah,
that's
what I read.
Are you fucking kidding me? A global multi-billion-dollar company can't have belts ready in time.
Look at AEW.
That was hardcore.
That was in the very beginning.
That was in the lockdown.
That was in the very beginning of the pandemic when everything was shut down.
I'll still give them it though. It's a good counterpoint.
How's it? Move on to drink of the week. I thought the NXT was underwhelming. I fast forwarded through a lot of NXT.
Underwhelming. Well, then you missed everything. If you fast forwarded through.
No. Tony and EO was what it was. It was good. What I thought going into it.
That was good. Yeah.
It was.
And you got EO calling. Out
Raquel,
which I'm fine with.
Why was EO calling out her challenger? That was one of the problems.
See, I didn't like that either. Yeah, man, that's like on the tune of that's on the tune of like Oscar almost, how she was calling people out.
Yeah,
she's beating everybody else. So
that's EO's move. I want to do next.
That's fine. I'm okay with that. Balor and Cole was good.
Balor and Cole.
Mm-hmm. It was Balor and Cole. Like
it was Balor and Cole. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, but other than that, like
Dunn Atlas was good. You probably passed.
Dunn Atlas was good. That was. Yeah. I think that was my match of the night. Actually,
that was good. Mm-hmm. I like the tear Dunn is going on.
I can't. I don't.
They need to do something with him.
Jake Atlas does nothing for me, so I can't.
He doesn't, but the match was good.
Atlas does nothing. Dunn,
again, this is where me and you differ. You like matches just because of matches. I need something else to be like completely on board with it. The match. I'm not going to shit on the match. Yes, they had a good match, but because Atlas has nothing and it doesn't do anything, like it didn't mean anything for me. Like you could have gave Dunn a different person to squash to get his point across of
He
being
didn't necessarily squash though. So.
technical. Well, that's what I'm. So if Dunn's going with this, I'm the best technical wrestler. Come see me. But you can't squash Jake Atlas. That doesn't make you. That doesn't make you anything. So here, okay, if you go take over 2 nights for Mania, night 1 you main event with Cole versus O'Reilly, and night 2 you main event versus Balor versus Cross.
No, I'm main event EO on one of them.
So you don't have Cole and O'Reilly in a main event?
I wouldn't.
Oh, that's a story within itself.
I wouldn't. I put 2 titles last.
Or do you give the payoff matches on one and then the title matches on the other?
2 title matches on the second night?
I think 2 nights for TakeOver is too much.
I agree.
Yeah. Same
for Mania.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's move into drink of the week. I'm done.
All right.
Chug, 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 chug.
This week's drink of the week is brought to you by WWE Jason because he makes me want to drink.
Look at that shout out, Jason.
Hey, I don't think these are twisties.
Yeah, thank you. Just now.
Hey, next time you go down to the corner store to get 30 bags of 25-cent chips, buy a freaking bottle opener.
But we went to the beer store yesterday and they had bottle openers. They had cigar clippers though.
Could probably use that.
Thank God we're doing hard liquor this week because beer would not cut it. So this week we're doing Irish ales in the theme of St. Patrick's Day. It's a very simple drink to make. It's literally Jameson, fresh lime juice, and beer. So we have some San Pellegrino ginger beer, 3 lime wedges with the Jameson. Add your ginger beer, mix it up, and let's see where we go here.
Kind of like an Irish mule, if you will.
For 15 cents a day, you can get Jason a bottle opener. Help this guy out. He's struggling.
Sounds like someone else is going to be starting OnlyFans.
They want to see me open beer with never mind.
You got a can opener?
If you can do that, I'll sign up for your OnlyFans.
You got a can opener?
I'm not getting up. I probably got the safety.
There you go.
So we doing the whole
So the recipe calls for 3 ounces Jameson, 3 lime wedges squeezed, and then 3 ounces ginger beer. You can add as much or as little as you want. I made mine a little stronger, just because. So
because of Jason.
Yeah, I'm glad I did after that.
The debate, right. Boy.
Is everybody ready? Ronald is passing this week, so unfortunately, he's not going to partake.
I got medical. I have medical stuff to do, so I can't do it. Sorry.
Yeah, normally I would just keep it simple and do an Irish car bomb today, but everybody pretty much has those. So I figured we go a different spin and do this Irish ale here. But everybody's mixed up. Raise your cups and salute.
Cheers. It's a tasty beverage.
Oh, I can get down on them.
Yeah, I'm a mule fan, so I'm cool.
The thing with this that was different from the Mexican mule that we did with the Terramana is that you don't taste the alcohol in this. So that'll get you in trouble if you like it. You know what I mean? If you like mules, if you like the, I think the ginger and the lime work well with the Jameson. Like I said, it's super simple recipe. Nothing Nothing outrageous. You don't got to go buy 7 different liquors to make one drink. It's super simple. Lime juice, Jameson, and ginger beer. The San Pellegrino ginger beer is way better than that Bush League ginger beer you bought, Chris.
Get the hell out of here. Excuse me, I didn't go San Pellegrino on my ginger beer.
Hey, I didn't buy the San Pellegrino either. That was gifted to me. So
Excuse me for not wanting to spend $10 on a 4-pack of ginger beer.
Hey, listen. Sometimes you can't go cheap with mixed drinks. You got to go top shelf.
I like the way the bubbles tickle on my mustache.
I'm glad you said mustache.
No show ever.
Oh man,
Worst show ever.
Last week was the worst show ever.
I'm gonna go with a solid 4. I really enjoy this. This is something that I can get down and drink. I can drink quite a few of these. So I'm gonna go solid 4 on this.
I'll stick with you. You can give me mixed drinks every day of the week, and I'm in.
Better than the stout last week, Jason.
Oh wait.
The thing I like about this, that ginger beer always gives that extra bite in the drink, and I always like that with the ginger beer. And it really pairs well with the warmth that you're getting from the Irish whiskey too, with the Jameson. So, yeah, I'll go 4 as well. Good job, Steve.
All right. Well, there you go, folks. That's the
Donald. How's the water?
oh, lovely, always.
That's the drink of the week review for the Irish Ale on this pre-St. Patrick's Day. So if you're out and about, definitely scoop up this combination and enjoy yourself one on actual St. Patrick's Day on Wednesday. This week, I'm going to change up the toast. I know we've been running the same toast for the last 27 episodes, but this week I saw something a little different. I think I'm going to give it out. And this is
I like good chips and wood chips.
Yeah, we're going to hold off on the ships this week because you're the shit and you're just completely ruining. So raise your cups, glasses, solo cups, shot glasses, brown paper bags, whatever you're drinking with. And I would like to make a toast to lying, stealing, cheating, and drinking. If you're going to lie, lie for a friend. If you're going to steal, steal a heart. If you're going to cheat, cheat death. And if you're going to drink, drink with me. With that being said, I don't know the Irish comparison to salute, so
Sláinte. That's the title this week.
Solange? Beyonce's sister, Solange? Cheers.
Should have told me I roll my head.
All
right, folks.
Our sports.
This week in sports, it was massacre week across the NFL. The salary cap came out at $182.5 million. So teams have until Wednesday, until St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, to get under the cap. A lot of bigger names have been released. I'm sure some will continue to get cut here in the next couple of days. A lot of contract restructuring. Brady basically gifted the Bucks like an additional $19 million with his restructure, and they plan on keeping that team together as much as possible. So a lot going down in the NFL this week.
He signed a 4-year deal this week?
Yeah, he signed a 4-year deal, but 3 of those years are voidable, which, not to get too much in the minutia of it, but basically they do count against the cap, but they're spread out over a 5-year period, and it's different dollar amounts over those 5 years. So when the bill comes and it comes time for them to pay him, he could do like what Drew Brees did and just completely restructure and sign for the vet minimum, or they'll have to pay him. So I got to drop out for a sec.
I got you.
Yeah, and like other big names too, like the Steelers didn't use the franchise tag on Bud Dupree. at all. So he's going free agency. Was it Cam Newton re-signed by the Patriots, 1-year deal, $13.6 million, but $6 million is incentive based. So you gotta work for his money. None of it guaranteed at all.
The way it should be in a way, but
Dak's big contract, highest paid player per year. Maybe a $66 million signing bonus in his first year. His first year pay is going to be 75 or 77 million.
Jeez.
Yeah, he's making out big time. That's all who I know about for like football. Like just like Steve said, a ton of releases.
Chiefs lost to the linemen, so
okay,
that'll be Mahomes running around next year.
Oh yeah, with Patrick Mahomes too. They're the Chiefs are looking to restructure his contract too, so they're going to pay him more up front in guaranteed money, so they can actually get some players, linemen, basically.
Okay,
or in the block for him, yeah, because they can do that. And
then Steve jump back on and talk to Stiller talk.
He's coming back on.
And then I don't know. I'm not sure about Ben's contract, but I know that he freed up 15 mil.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we just was talking about contract restructuring for Mahomes, Dak's big contract.
Yeah, Dak's big deal. So Dak's deal is an interesting one because it's the largest signing bonus ever, $66 million. It's basically he's owed, I think it's 72 or 75 mil in the first year.
Yeah, I think it's 75.
And then after that, it is what it is. I'd be interested to see if this is kind of like a 1-year deal thing next year with him. Jerry Jones said, there ain't nothing that I overpaid for that or I never got nothing, something along the lines of overpaying for everything that he got. The quote itself wasn't really a shot at Dak saying that he overpaid Dak, but it was taken out of context in that way. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. I don't know, if your cap is $182.5 million for this upcoming year, and you're paying your quarterback $75 million of that, how the hell are you going to fill the team? So I don't
remember Zeke got that big contract too for the running back.
Paid, Amari got paid.
Where didn't Ware get paid? Or is he like the top paid in his position?
I don't know. I don't remember. But they got a lot of number one people paid at their position, so they're not going to be able to keep everybody. And they already stink. So this is just, as a Cowboys hater, this just makes me happy because they're going to continue to suck. UFC 259 was last weekend. I watched the card itself. Good event. The free fights that were on the prelim were way better than the main event card fights.
That's how it ends up sometimes.
Yeah, it does. It sucks.
Yeah, it does happen.
I enjoyed the card though. You had the illegal knee shot heard around the world in the Aljamain Sterling fight. That's the first time that I've ever seen an illegal knee thrown or an illegal strike thrown in a UFC match. It was great. Greg Hardy?
Yeah.
I didn't see that fight.
I saw one John Jones, like his only legit loss.
Yeah, against Matt Hamill.
Yeah, he bought down the elbow.
Yeah, the elbow to 12-6. I didn't see that fight either. But so this was like my first time watching it live, seeing it. Yeah, crazy.
What was your thoughts on the title change though?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like
warranted
because it was a clear illegal strike.
Yeah.
I don't think he said after the fight that's not how he wanted to win the belt. And scorecard wise, it was going to come down to the 5th round, and it had potential to be. It was real tight on the scorecard. So, it was an entertaining fight, and you hate to see something like that happen. Obviously, I'm sure they'll run it back. They almost have to at this point. So we'll go from there, and then the Adesanya fight.
I caught that.
It's hard. It's hard going up in weight and having a true light heavyweight face you, to where he takes you down and controls you for 5 minutes, a little over 5 minutes of the fight. So 1 round out of the 5-round fight, he just controlled you on the ground. It's hard to win that way. In order to take the belt, you actually have to go in there and beat the champion if he goes to judges' scorecards. And it was clear that he did not do that. However, I don't understand the scoring. 49-45 from the one judge. Like, how did you score that fight 49-45? I don't see how you got to that based off of the fight itself.
That's what Dana always says. Don't leave it in the judge's hands. You got to leave it in the cage.
Yeah, you got to leave it in the cage. I mean, he fought. He said it's not his last forte in the light heavyweight division. It was a good step up for him. He challenged the title holder and lost. Does this hurt a potential super fight versus him and John Jones? Absolutely. John Jones wants no part of it now. It's like, why would I waste my time on you? You can't even beat this guy, and you want to step up to me? Like,
that's what I said last week. Was 5 months going to be enough time for him to step up to a new division? And maybe next time, he'll have more time. He has one under his belt. We'll see how he does. But for this one, it wasn't enough time.
Yeah, not
Nunez
at all.
killed it though. I mean, she did her job.
Listen,
that girl's a beast, man. She's a beast.
She is the pound for pound best fighter, men or women. Pound for pound best fighter. She's completely wiped out an entire division. There's nobody at 145 to face her.
That's how you're supposed to handle a title fight. Go in there, eliminate, and be done with your night.
Yeah.
She was a minus 900. That might be the largest. I don't think I've ever seen a betting line for a fighter where they were a minus 900.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
But just like Chris said, that's the way you take care of business. You go in, you beat them down, you leave. That's
absolutely.
Yeah, you don't for play around. You just go.
She earned her money. All 2 minutes she fought, she earned her money.
Yep.
I don't know where her losses came from because I've been watching her that long.
I don't know if all 4 of those were in the UFC or if those were outside of the UFC.
Yeah, I think it might be outside.
So
the only thing I was nervous about last week, like I said, was she had just come off 2 decisions, but I love whenever first round ending. Loved it.
Yeah. So
what are your thoughts on the ring being smaller?
So I think
I don't really have a problem with it.
I think
I like it. So you can't run.
Yeah, not that much dancing. I like it.
It makes for more exciting fights for sure. And you saw that based on the prelims, and you've seen that pretty much for any card that they've done during this pandemic. Whether or not they go back to the bigger cage whenever they're allowed to go back into arenas and that, we'll see. But I don't mind the smaller cage at all. I think it makes for more exciting fights.
Yeah, this is my first time seeing a event in the pandemic situation. So it was just different.
Yeah. So that there a couple quick hitters from different sports. NCAA March Madness coming up here. We have the conference tournaments going on this week. COVID is coming through, wrecking shop here. So we'll see how this tournament is going to play out. ACC tournament, you saw Duke get eliminated because they had a positive test. Virginia got eliminated because they had a positive test. And that may leave, Duke, Virginia. Well, Duke wasn't getting in anyways because they were like 13-12 this year. They stunk. But like Virginia, Kansas, these teams that have had positive tests, it'll be interesting to see if they get into the field because they're supposed to have, I think one of the guidelines for teams going into the NCAA tournament, you're supposed to have 7 consecutive days without a positive test. and based off of when their positives were confirmed, they're right around that mark. So it'll be interesting to see what the NCAA does. It'll be interesting to see what the NCAA does with teams in the tournament, and actually, if they have a positive test, what do they do?
Mm-hmm.
So I know that they're going to have some reserve teams that will step in and fill in for teams that get eliminated. But
that's crazy.
It's going to be insane. Like I don't know how you're
on the wait list.
I don't know how you pick a bracket this year and fill a bracket sheet out. You know what I mean? And actually,
especially if a wild card team just comes in out of nowhere, a team on reserve, like, be ready, we're going to throw you in.
I mean, we always hear the term bracket buster every year, but I mean, this is the year for that. I think
COVID is the bracket buster.
Yeah, remember they won a tournament last year.
I'm gonna win one year.
Yeah,
yeah. So we'll see how that plays out.
My alma mater finally got in last year again and couldn't even watch them.
Yeah.
That was a heartbreak there.
Yeah. So there's that. The CFL and the XFL are potentially in talks on linking up and partnering together.
This is going to be interesting.
Yeah. So, statement from Randy Ambrose, who is the Roger Goodell of the CFL. He said, Canada, this is on aligning opportunities with the XFL. Canada has an exciting game and devoted fans, and our discussion with the XFL provides a tremendous opportunity to build on that strong foundation. We look forward to exploring how we might work with one of the most innovative sports brands in the world to grow the game, engage fans in new ways, and reach new audiences. I think this is awesome.
Yeah.
XFL did say that this 2022 season's now on hold due to this. So we'll see how this changes anything, if they do continue to play next year, or if it gets pushed back a season or what. But
I'm okay with that. I thought they would put it on hold more for COVID reasons still. Mm-hmm. I didn't think that it was going to go off in the spring of 2022 just based on how everything is gone. But if they're going to put it on hold for this to see what they can do, I watched the CFL. The game is definitely different, obviously. But there are things from the CFL game that I like. I liked a lot of the changes that the XFL did whenever they came back, and put into place. So if you can get a combination worked out to where it works, and you have a basis where you have, I don't know how many teams are in the CFL. I don't know if it's 6 or 8, and then you have 6 or 8 XFL teams. I think there were 6 whenever it relaunched.
So they're merging, or
potentially, yes.
Yeah, they haven't said what. They're just in talks for something, so we'll see what it leads to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I would like it of champions.
I would like it if they play, like the XFL will play their team, CFL play their teams, and maybe like 1 or 2 teams from XFL will play 1 or 2 CFL teams. It didn't do it like the NFL and AFL did it at the end with the Super Bowl.
So you have the
champion versus their champion.
You have the XFL versus the CFL in the whatever.
In like their championship type thing. Mm-hmm.
I thought about that too, and then so XFL, they started last year, like March, like beginning of March, and then ended like February, April.
End of February they started.
Yeah, but remember it got canceled because of COVID. So
yeah, CFL they do their games usually June through August. So I don't know. One of them would have to change their schedule probably to do that,
which is fine.
Yeah.
If you do,
maybe it's going to be more of a player trade. Like players can play in the XFL and they can play in the CFL after that. Like extend their season more.
I don't think you can do that just based off of like the game of football itself. Like that would be too much to ask players to do. Like body wise, health wise. I think if you run the season like May through July, then you can have this CFL XFL combo leads you right into the NFL preseason and then into the NFL regular season. So like I could see that, besides baseball in the summer, there's nothing really to watch. So like if you're gonna give me this CFL XFL combo with all the stuff, the bells and whistles that I like from the relaunch and its competitive action, I would much rather watch that than watch baseball in the summer.
No, I liked XFL last year for what I played. So I'm excited that they're going to continue on.
It was exciting. It was.
The Fan Control Football League, we saw Josh Gordon make his debut. He had 2 touchdowns, one on the opening play and then one on a Hail Mary to win the game. So Johnny Manziel to Josh Gordon is alive and well in the FCF. They're coming up on – last week was their final regular season week, so this week is their first round of playoffs, I believe.
Only round. Then next week's the championship.
Okay, so 2 games on tonight.
6 weeks total.
Yeah.
2 games on tonight. So listen, guys, I told you if you want entertainment and you want some time to kill, hop on Twitch and watch the FCF. It really is entertaining the way that they present the game. They have in-game interviews with people like Joe Montana. They had Richard Sherman on. They take it for what it's worth. Don't go in there looking at it as like hardcore NFL football.
Yeah. Hey, Jason, what did you call him plays last week?
Before last,
yeah. Jay got he got some play calling in. The Denmarks will look into sponsorship of a FCF team next year. If we become part owners, you will see the garb and the merch draped around the Denmarks here. So there's that. So tune in that. And then one thing in hockey that I wanted to say, the NHL is back on ESPN.
Yep.
So after 17 years, the NHL is back on ESPN with a 7-year television, streaming, and media rights deal that begins next season, 2021-2022. It'll be on ESPN, ESPN Plus, Hulu, and ABC.
Man,
they
got everything up.
They got, I believe it's 75 games in total. So the NHL actually did something really smart here. They basically are double dipping. So they got paid from ESPN for the package that they sold off to ESPN. And then NBC is going to get the other part. So they'll get paid from NBC. So kudos to NHL for making a smart business move here. That way you have games on NBC, you'll have them on Peacock, you'll have them on USA, and then you'll have, the ESPN package where you'll get them on Hulu, ESPN Plus, ESPN, and ABC. It's just nice to know where an actual hockey game is and where you can tune in to watch it. That's one of the big issues with hockey now. You have no idea when it's on and what channel it's on.
So does ABC get the championship?
So ESPN and ABC will start getting, I believe, half of the Stanley Cup games.
Yeah.
So the Stanley Cup, the series will be split between the networks. However they work that out.
Okay.
But no, it's a good deal.
NBC will still get the finals because that's what.
Oh, so they're still NBC right now.
ESPN is getting Stanley Cup final games too.
Okay. I know they saw the playoffs for sure, but
yeah, they're gonna split it. This is a good move. I'm glad to see hockey back on ESPN. It's been way too long.
Yeah, like you said, this is good. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that the intro to NHL on ESPN, the hockey intro, like that's one of those things growing up. Like you heard that and it was just like something that was synonymous. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like the NBA on NBC theme from way back in the day. It's just one of those things that you associate with the sport. So I'm glad to see it back on ESPN after all this time.
One of the interesting things in the deal too was ESPN Plus is, so if there's any out of market blackout games, ESPN Plus is still going to be able to play them. So that was kind of interesting how they did that.
Now ESPN Plus, the app, a lot of people shit on it and basically say the technology sucks. Games that you're supposed to be able to watch, you can't watch even with blackouts and all that other stuff. So hopefully they get their stuff fixed on their end for that.
So did you see that this week that Hulu now incorporate a lot of ESPN Plus stuff?
No, I didn't.
Now like on demand stuff like 30 for 30s and things like that you can watch on demand on Hulu, But when you log on to Hulu, there's also a section of live stuff, so you can watch live sports games on Hulu now too. If you have the Disney Plus package with ESPN and Hulu together, so I don't know if they're thinking maybe merging the two together at some point if they're doing this, or
everything will be on Disney Plus. Everything's going to be on Disney Plus soon.
Yeah, that was the initial rumor, was that like the Hulu and ESPN Plus package that came with Disney Plus, eventually it would all lead to just being Disney Plus, kind of like how Discovery Plus launched a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it has
Everything.
HGTV, Discovery Network, like all those, and it's just Discovery Plus. It's going to be the same thing where it's just Disney Plus, but you'll be able to go you'll have your Hulu, ESPN Plus, and all that, but it will just be called Disney Plus.
Yeah.
It's too very much, man.
Welcome to the new age.
That's all I had in sports. I don't have anything else unless you guys got anything you want to touch on.
I got one quick thing. Michigan State announced this week their basketball team will now be called the MCU Spartans Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Wow.
Like
So
team name sponsorship now.
Sponsorship has officially made its way into college sports. You've seen like the patch on the jerseys, but Michigan State is the first legit high-ranking D1 school to change their name, and they are definitely going to be called the Michigan State University Spartans, presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Right now it's just the basketball team, but I'm sure that's going to be extended.
I hate Rocket Mortgage now.
And then one other thing, that's just horrible as it is. Who knows? That's going to lead to a whole bunch of different things, and then you're gonna run into, sponsors. Is that going to lead to paying for athletes and that, or is sponsors being associated with the university when these players start getting paid for their likeness? Are they just going to automatically, hey, you come to Michigan State, you automatically have a deal with Rocket Mortgage, and they're going to pay you X amount because we're associated with Rocket Mortgage, like commercials, whatever the case may be, So I don't know. It's just I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, that you're selling naming rights to college universities. But basically, it goes back to the point that everybody has been saying for years and years and years, is that it's not amateurism. Amateurism was a name was a word that the NCAA came up with and made up themselves so that way they didn't have to pay athletes.
Yeah.
So, if you're doing this type of deal, then high schoolers that sign with the overtime league that we talked about last week, where they give up their amateurism, then they should be able to go and play in college. They don't draft in the pros, because you're selling naming rights now. Like it's ridiculous. So
it's all about the money.
And then last thing real quick, Pat McAfee show this week, yesterday, Friday. Apparently him and ESPN are feuding now. So ESPN blocked any of their talent from going on his show.
Interesting.
They're no longer allowed to do interviews or come on to his show. Don't really know the whole backstory behind it. I think a lot of this in the background has to do with like the Skip Bayless deal and stuff. So that just keep an eye out on that to see how that kind of landscape and that story evolves as we go through it and see what comes out more. There's a YouTube clip from his show that they got cut from the show itself where he talks about it. So just something interesting. It's the first time that I can remember where a company banned talent from going on another show that's not associated with a network. So obviously, like, you wouldn't get Stephen A. Smith on Undisputed because Fox is an Undisputed. That's a network show. And Stephen A. Smith is on ESPN, so they're contracted to each network. So you wouldn't see that. But because Pat McAfee's not a network show, he's on Sirius, he's on satellite, and he live streams on YouTube. It's just interesting that ESPN came down with this, hey, we can't have none of our talent on your show. So we'll see how that evolves and comes about, but just something to keep an eye on as well.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, I got nothing else. Let's get into this wrap up here.
All right, boys and girls, thanks for tuning in to episode 28 of the Dumb Marks podcast. Remember that we are live every Saturday at 11 a.m. on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. So please subscribe on all of our platforms and social media so you get alerts each week. And our audio-only edition of the podcast is available every Monday, wherever you listen to podcasts. Subscribe to our social media pages of Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at dumbmarkspod, and message us during the show, or you can even email us at dumbmarkspod@gmail.com. Gentlemen, do we have anything before we get into One Gotta Go this week?
Yeah, I just got a couple quick hitters, final thoughts that we didn't touch on from wrestling. New Japan Cup 2021, the round of 16 started this past week, so that's going. You can get on New Japan World and check that out. John Laurinaitis is coming back to WWE as head of talent relations.
People power.
And then Jay Lethal is facing Rush for the ROH World Championship at the 19th anniversary pay-per-view. Jay Briscoe is now facing EC3. So the match that was supposed to happen between EC3 and Briscoe in December that didn't take place because EC3 tested positive for COVID is now taking place at their 19th anniversary show. And then one other quick thing here. Mark Madden, the radio host here in Pittsburgh, started a podcast, a wrestling podcast with Mike Mansury, formerly of the WWE. He spent 11 years with the WWE. He works on the Pat McAfee show now. Them two started a podcast called Wrestling with Sports Entertainment. It's WRASSLIN with Sports Entertainment. If you're looking for a non-filter, no sugarcoat, true assessment or authentic, 100% authentic, real take on wrestling, I suggest watching that. I suggest watching that. You could watch that on YouTube.
Did it start this week?
Yeah, they did AEW. They talked about Revolution pay-per-view and that and some other things. It was a little over an hour long, but it was really good. It kind of gave you a feel for what they were going to do. I think I like the pairing. Madden, was in the business. He was an announcer for WCW back in the day. He spent 8 years with WCW in creative role and whatnot. And like I said, Mansury spent 11 years with WWE. He was lead producer on NXT with Triple H there at the end of his run. He talks about this. He was projected to be the replacement for Kevin Dunn once Dunn retired. He was going to be the next man to take over that role, and he just decided that he wanted to do something different with his career, and wanted to get involved on the internet side of things and linked up with Pat McAfee. So good episode, good talk. It really will be a breath of fresh air because neither one of them are tied to any company, and they both have no qualms about holding anything back. So if you're looking for something,
check that out.
Yeah, check that out. But that's all I had as far as quick hitters, last takes.
I have one. What is it? NCAA college football. EA announced that it will be coming out in 2023.
Okay, so they did actually announce it then.
Yeah, so you got to wait.
Oh, lastly for me, Versus. I don't know if you guys watched the Versus battles on Instagram or Apple Music over the course of the pandemic, but they announced next Saturday, March 20th, you'll get Raekwon versus Ghostface. So for anybody that's a hip-hop individual hip-hop head or just a Wu-Tang fan in general, I know I'll be tuned in for this one. This is probably one that I'm that I've looked forward to the most in a really long time. So I'll tune in for that. That's next Saturday, March 20th.
Okay. Jason?
You're good.
All right. Let's get
Cue
into
the
it.
music.
All right, this week's one gotta go. We're going for all-time favorite potato chips. So whenever I looked it up, these are the top 4 selling brands of potato chips. So Lay's, this is just regular Lay's. This isn't the Frito-Lay brand. So you got Lay's, Ruffles, Utz, and Pringles.
This is a terrible list. First off, Pringles isn't even a potato chip. How do they even count Pringles as a potato chip? That's just terrible.
No, it's in the top 4.
And we're just going with plain Lay's, plain Utz, and plain Ruffles. Like this isn't honey.
It can be any flavor. It can be any flavor.
Okay,
see, you can't like this. You need to be more. This needs to be more specific. Are we going, cheddar and sour cream Ruffles? We going honey barbecue Utz? Like
I think it's just going the whole brand because I can easily pick mine off.
If you're just going brand alone, I can't count Pringles. That's not even a chip. Like to me, that's completely different. I don't even include them on this list. I don't like. If I'm going just straight brand wise, I guess I'll go Ruffles. I'm gonna go Utz. I'm gonna go Utz with the sleeper. I'm gonna go Utz.
Come again?
I'm gonna go Utz.
You must ain't had Utz.
You keep saying that.
The honey barbecue Utz are probably the best chip out there.
Thank you. The best chip ever. How you take Utz off the list?
Oh wait, my bad. I was picking one I would eat. My bad.
Okay.
My bad.
Right here, one gotta go. We've been doing this for how many weeks now?
I'm a dumb Mark. I got caught up and I got fat. I started thinking about chips that I like. I'm like, hey, I'll eat Ruffles. No, Pringles got to go. They're not even a potato chip. I don't even know why we're having this discussion. It should be a clean sweep across the board. Pringles.
Pringles are kind of trash once you start eating too many of them. Utz honey barbecue is the best chip ever. Right now I'm old and these are my new favorite chip. That's when you know you're old and Plains Lay's is your favorite chip. I can't tell you the last time I had a Ruffle. They're trash. They're terrible. They look good with dip. I bought Ruffles one time just to eat with dip and they still broke. So I don't believe in them.
You don't believe in them. It's not that they exist or may not exist. They exist.
I don't believe in them. I don't have faith in the chip.
You're getting Ruffles? Ruffles got to go?
Ruffles are going to go.
Are you? What? The cheddar and sour cream Ruffles? With the cake Ruffles? Oh, the all seasoning Ruffles?
All dressed, yeah.
All dressed, whatever the hell it's called. It's delicious. Yeah. That's what it is. It should be all delicious, not all dressed. Yeah. All delicious.
One of my favorites.
I guess I'm being a minority today.
You're the minority with everything.
All right, easy with that. We don't need to get canceled.
I'll get canceled as soon as I walk upstairs and my wife hears that comment.
Ruffles are a good chip. But yeah, they're the dipping chip, so they're staying. I like Ruffles. Utz are my favorite brand of chips. The honey barbecue, the Carolina barbecue is my favorite. That's my go-to for Utz, but anything Utz I enjoy. Between Pringles and Lay's, I agree with you, Steve, in a way. It's not really a chip, but sometimes I enjoy Pringles. I think I'm going to go with.
It's not a chip.
I think I got to go with Lay's. Lay's is just terrible. There's never a whole chip. They're always greasy. They're always crumbled. Just
have you been to the bag yet? Have you been to the bag where the fattest chips are? The glorious chips
At
are.
least that's whenever I open up a bag of Utz, I actually get whole potato chips in there.
Man, all right.
I thought he was walking out on me.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Well, goddamn.
Broken?
Yep, all broken. You can't eat one. The tagline is you can't just eat one, and that's because you don't find one whole chip in the bag.
Oh boy!
I still don't understand why this is a conversation.
Yeah.
Pringles isn't even a chip, but all right.
So with me, Utz is again my favorite chip, like everybody. The honey barbecue, and I like the sweet heat. Love that one. Lay's, that's the old people's chip, and I'm loving their plain. And plus, I like their barbecue also. Out of Ruffles and Pringles, Ruffles got the cheddar sour cream. I always loved them as a kid. So Pringles, I like Pringles, but out this list, Pringles got to go.
It's not even
Nolan and Steve agreed on something.
It's not a chip. It's not a chip.
Out of those, yeah.
I would have rather seen hers on this list or Schneider's on this list than Pringles.
Oh, then we would have got a debate.
They're local, so they don't sell much. Might have changed their seasoning, so they're trash.
Not a chip. I don't got nothing else to say. It's not a chip. I'm done. It's good.
It's good. I like Pringles, but out of those other three, it don't come close.
All right. Well, that was one got to go this week. Jay continues to eat broken chips. The closing quote of the week is short and sweet this week. I saw this. Chris Bay, the wrestler from Impact Wrestling, tweeted this out, and I thought it was good. So ask yourself if what you are doing today is getting you closer to where you want to be tomorrow. Let that sink in. And until next time, you guys can catch us around the way.
I'm ready to hold up my glass like good chips and wood chips. And
No, broken chips